The thing about young people is that they don't have a mortgage on youth. By that I mean that all older people, I'll count myself there included, on the planet today, well, we were ourselves young once. Just as we've all known youth, not every young person will know old age. It's a sobering thought. And with age comes experience and the scar tissue of mistakes that we hope others don't make, but just as we did, probably will. The whole debate about illegal drugs, highlighted by recent deaths at music festivals, is sold by some as a brand new challenge confronting our young people. And if you listen to the harm minimisation lobby, it's so far gone now that we just have to capitulate, to let these kids use what they want and then manage the risk. They claim the old just say no doesn't work anymore. Well, let me give you an alternative view, because I'm from that just say no generation. I'm a Gen Xer who grew up in the time of Melbourne's heroin scourge in the 1990s, when cocaine started to routinely appear at parties, when most young boys had a bong, and later on lived through the ecstasy binges that my friends went on during dance party days of cool Britannia overseas on their backpacking trips, before ecstasy was as commonplace here as it was then over there. And you know what? I just said no. I just said no, and I'm here to say it worked. And it worked for almost everyone I know. Not all. Some got their brains fried by drug use, and another I know had a fatal overdose. But by and large, the message that this stuff can kill and will kill you, and roulette of crap cooked up with poison in a backyard kitchen by bikies, it worked. But not now. Now we've gone soft. Now we're being told that as a society we have to sanction the illegal use of drugs because stupid kids can't stand aside from their peer group and just say no. Can't walk away, can't risk being uncool on social media, or God forbid, can't enjoy music without being as high as a kite. Or that parents can't or won't parent, too scared to stand up to their kids, too scared to say no or ask questions about where they're going and when they'll be home. Right now there's two inquiries going on, one a coronial inquest and the other a New South Wales Government commission into recent deaths at music festivals. Before we go any further here, let's be honest. These are not music festivals where people go for music and a handful might take drugs. These are drug festivals where the music, if you can call doof music, well, that's an afterthought. In and around these venues, the drug mules swarm, and dealers, looking for their latest idiot, shop their poison to willing purchasers. The New South Wales Health Department estimates that up to 90%, that's 90%, of music festival patrons use drugs. On that basis, I'd say more people use drugs at music festivals than drink alcohol. Yet, rather than take on the musical festival lobby, these organisers who rake in millions from these events, as a society, we're all being told the horse is bolted, we've just got to accept that pill testing should be allowed, as well as the thousands spent by taxpayers for ambulance officers at these events and the millions spent dealing with drug abuse in our medical system. Well, I just don't accept that. Just because we haven't been able to stop every murder, despite murder being a crime for much of human history, doesn't mean we suddenly should sanction it. Why are taxpayers expected to foot the cost of testing the drugs that bikie gangs want to foist on young people stupid enough to think they're invincible? What sort of message does that send to so many of our young people who battle against peer pressure if we as a society suddenly say yes? And our ambulance teams and health workers, why make their job any harder? But above all, where's the pressure on the organisers of these drug events who make millions from our young people? Why aren't they facing tougher penalties for drug use at their events and for all the harm that follows? Any pub that saw its patrons regularly killed on its premises would be shut down. Any worksite that saw workers die would have work cover crawling all over it. Yet with drugs, society is being told we must capitulate when no one, not one medical professional, has ever been able to say that using illicit drugs is a good thing. Every one of them, even the harm minimisation crowd, all admit the drug use is harmful. It's a slippery slide into many parts of the criminal underworld. It's the use of seemingly fun party drugs one day that then escalates into ice, heroin and other black market prescription drugs next, that sees lives ruined and families torn apart. Talk about mixed messages. At the same time as we want to open up illicit drug use, we're also spending millions trying to shut down, at least now, legal smoking. Now, I can't imagine how hard it must be to grow up in our society today. Gender is a social construct, not a matter of fact. Relationships are transactional, built on the back of a Tinder swipe, with sex often predating even knowing someone's surname. You're fed this rubbish about cataclysmic climate change. Your friends are counted by the thousands on social media, but you hardly know anyone to call when you're down. And you think the hard work of saving for a home deposit is harder for you than it has been for any other generation before you. But always saying yes to our young people has hardly helped them. We have some of the highest youth suicide rates in the world, even though our kids supposedly have more freedoms than ever, more educational opportunities and more money in their pockets than ever before. Our young people need more boundaries, not fewer. They need us to care more by saying no, rather than care less by saying yes.